once again with the lower brackets. Actually, last round of round 3 here, actually, and this is going to be a pretty insane match. We've got Daxio, aka Kerpal, here up against RVG, and in fact, we've got RVG taking 2 very quick frags right before items come up right now. So as I watch him coming out of this, he's got very little stack to work with, but he's doing a ton of damage with the shotgun here. We've got Red Armor up, but he's actually just baiting it out, just looking for the damage. He doesn't even want the items. He just wants blood in between his teeth, and he's gonna get it, even if some of it may be his. I mean, this is a dangerous game he's running right now. He's able to do a ton of damage, but all at the same time, he's taking a lot. I'm actually really surprised that he's still alive. We have 5 seconds to Mega, 5 seconds to Red, and even dropping down right now is going to be shaving off a significant portion of what little health remains to him. And not getting that Mega? How is he alive? How does this happen? Oh well, he does wisely anyway. He's able to pick up the 50, giving away more items to his opponent though, so for all the damage that he's done, it's all being washed right now, and Daxio can just pick it right back on up and has a solid stack with a solid frag, and will be taking a very nice amount of momentum here on Acid WDM2. Nice. So he's actually going to be baiting this thing off a little bit more, really keeping a strong focus on the items right now. And with the timing being what they have been, it's been very easy for him to just bounce from one to the other and maintain total control there. Now, Yellow Armor is still going to be in the hands of RVG. On this map, it's also very important that the player in control also gets control of the yellow. But that's going to be the one thing that RVG has to work with for now. And with the initial damage coming out of Daxio, I mean, look at these shots. Beautiful, beautiful amount of damage here. And with Daxio taking absolutely nothing in return, it's going to be very difficult for RVG to get a word in edgewise. And there's a beautiful rocket prioritizing the blood over the armor, but that's going to be the armor taken away by RVG there. Is this going to be a turn in the match? Well, it'll all come down to this fight. Now it's not going to happen. That armor is just going to be burned right off, and Daxio takes the lead 3-2. 2 seconds left to Mega Health, and Daxio's going to be dropping down right on top of it. And actually, that last little amount of damage, I don't know if he just wasn't moving in the right direction already or what, but missing the Mega Health completely, couldn't even grab it before he died. So now Daxio is just starting to take pole position. I think RVG wasn't really looking forward to the outcome of this match, and we might be starting to see why. I mean, really good control by Daxio here. I mean, he's breaking off for the items exactly when he needs to. 10 seconds to Red Armor, and he's already making a move towards the top of the map, pulling together some beautiful rail hits in the meantime. 3 seconds to it, and he's looking for the ambush from RVG, making sure that he's bounced out of that area before he goes in for the armor himself. 8 seconds still to the Mega Health, and he knows where he needs the fight to happen. He's still giving away that yellow armor to his opponent, but there's actually been enough pressure coming out of RVG here, so that's actually kind of necessary to kind of let go of the one item just so we can keep control of the others. But that's going to be one stolen away from him finally, bring this thing a little bit closer, 6-3. Big pop-up in the middle. Daxio just playing it cool, like King Cool. He ain't bothered. Alright, but coming back through here, he's got Railgun and not a lot else to work with. Finally getting a pick up of Rocket Launcher just at the right time, too, as RVG comes around the corner and misses the spawn for the Mega just by a fraction of a second. And you can see why this map, as I said, it has its own groove to it. You either can go along with it or you can't. And Daxio's always been one of those guys who could just play this map as if he had made it. Red Armor's going to be up, but he's not going to be all that concerned about it. Wants to flush out the corridors, wants to flush out the hallways before even giving that Red Armor a second glance. So can hear his opponent up top. It actually eats a rail without giving one a return. Finally dishes it back out. Leaving 8 seconds left for Red Armor, but this is a good point to make a frag happen without taking too much of a return, because RVG is going to be difficult to completely dissuade off the Red Armor right now. So off of the response, yep, there's a few more rockets just to burn it off. And look at everything that Daxio has lost. It's going to be a mutual frag, but this is a big reset button, you know. Take the game out, blow in its slot for a while, and plug it back into your NES, because this has been reset as far as, you know, who controls what, who has what weapons, and who's really in charge. I mean, 7-4 is way too close to call to really allow that sort of thing to happen, so Daxio made a bit of an error not really making sure that RVG was not going to be retaliating against that Red Armor. Or at least if, you know, he was going to be focusing more on RVG than the armor, really making sure that RVG had absolutely no way to do what he did. So that'll cost him 1, but apparently he hasn't been completely punished for it. We still have 8 seconds left to Mega, and mistiming on RVG's parts here will be extremely devastating. In fact, Daxio showing up a little bit and coming through a little bit early. He's still got plenty of armor to work with, but now he's finally got the timing for that Mega health down. But this is an item that RVG does not want to pass up. He wants to use it completely. And look at that. Daxio didn't even get all that much damage off in the meantime, leaving RVG with 145 health with a bit of rot. But this is RVG's way back into the map. He's kept it close. He's kept it within 3. This is entirely doable. 4 minutes left to go. And now that he's got the strong stack, in fact, even with the yellow armor, this is where he needs to make the frags happen. Or, you know, force your opponent to suicide. That's cool too. Stylish, if you want to call it that. But if he misses the next Mega or the next red, he's going to be in big trouble. In fact, he goes for the red, which is showing up a few seconds after the Mega, so he potentially loses out on both of them. He's going to have to resort back to the yellow armor once again. And can he just get up close and personal enough without taking enough damage to just make that frag happen? With that initial rocket pop, not going to be happening. And a beautiful spawn rape. That's going to be making it 10-5. Now we start to see Daxio's score really start to stretch in front of RVG's as the time gets closer down to the bottom of the barrel. Two seconds to Mega. And RVG needs to be there. In fact, Daxio broke away a little bit, looking for damage more than Mega, but that might cost him. No! The rocket pop is going to be preventing that grab. RVG delaying his spawn just for a second, probably out of frustration. Nice little doink with the right. And actually, oh, using your opponent's head as a stepping stone over towards red armor. Very classy, RVG. But be that as it may, he's still down by 6 frags, and the time is getting shorter and shorter as the Kleckens slock on by. Yeah, I'm a little dyslexic when I'm tired. Mega grab by RVG finally. All because Daxio was way too early for that red armor, and RVG punishes for it. I mean, this is definitely the game where if you're 2 or 3 seconds early for an armor, you're really going to be hurting for it in a few seconds after that. Even if your opponent doesn't completely just plus forward you. It just means that you're going to be out of position for other key areas on the map. I mean, one of the great things about the Quake and dual game types is that there's always some place you need to be. And if you can get there before your opponent does, great. And that's when all the problems started rising, is when you have to wait for things to happen just so you can get back on your route. But apparently right now, waiting is exactly what RVG has in mind. He's still down by 4 frags, but he's actually baiting out the yellow armor. The problem is, his opponent got it. And ran away with it and knocked him into the water and didn't take all that much damage. There was like a solid rocket hit in there, but nowhere near enough to really justify it. Again, 3 seconds to that Mega. There's the grab. We have 1 minute 15 seconds left. Still 4 frags between. The frags have definitely slowed down a hell of a lot over the past couple of minutes. But RVG has been having more and more trouble just finding a way to get close to Daxio. Daxio's been having a lot more of this kind of hide around the corner for a while, wait for that ideal angle for the Electro Bolt, and then just make the hit happen. And you don't really need to frag your opponent in those situations, even though it's nice, like right there. But making them think more about 25 health pickups than they are about you. That's the key. And that's something that Daxio's been doing admirably. But then again, this is Acid WDM2, a map with a mind of its own. We're going to have to see how RVG fares against them in the next map. And I wish I knew what it was ahead of time. There we go. Alright, so 20 seconds, 11-6, switching back on over to Daxio here. Probably should just turn follow killer on. But yeah, Daxio's not moving anymore. I think we're calling GG. Except he's not calling GG, he's just standing. Don't be awkward.
3,
Get a name tag.
2,
Minkle. Alright, there we have it. 11-8 is going to be Acid WDM2, and we're going to be having next map come up here very, very shortly, guys, on levelupyourgame.net. So stay tuned as we finish off the lower bracket. We've already had one of the upper bracket semifinals, and I just closed down the bracket page. Here we go. Yeah, we already had Gory versus Hiravelli, but Gory's actually been knocked down to the lower bracket, either fighting off against Puffdar or Tongue up next. And right now we're seeing Kerpal, a.k.a. Daxio, versus RVG. Winner of that going up against Vicek. But our upper bracket final is going to be Hiravelli versus Darkway, which we may have coming up next.
Call to vote.
And then we've got... Actually, Trance, the easiest way for you would just be to hit escape and go and do chase cam mode. And then it should be auto. Yeah, I'm not sure if that's actually follow killer, but it'll follow the score leader, so yeah. There we go, we have WDM 14 being called up here, and that's where we're going to go. I was actually a little bit surprised that this was in the list. It's a weird map. It's got a lot of like really tight choke points on the red armor and the mega health, but the rest of it is either really wide and open or really kind of clustered and hallway-y. But it means that the action in the middle of the map is always a little bit stilted and awkward, and it's more about how you set up for the items than anything else. More than, you know, grab items and face off in the middle. It's more about, you know, do a little bit of poke damage in the middle and then face off at the items. And hope that your gun is bigger than the other guys. Especially with mega health guys. But yeah, once again, guys, this is the Stickmen Warsow Duel Cup. Grand finalists here today for a 16-man dual elimination bracket. Go for some biscuits, though. And actually, we are making a lot of really good headway. We've been streaming for about 2.5 hours now, and games have been going for just over 2 hours. And actually, again, Inane and Dex and the rest of the Stickmen crew doing a fantastic job. We've actually got money on the line today, 200 euro. I think winner takes all today. It's enough for a nice pair of headphones. Or a really nice burger. I'm actually really excited to see what the Warsaw development team has in store for us next. I mean, anytime you have something that people get familiar with and they get used to and invest a lot of time into, like you do with a competitive first-person shooter, anytime you start changing around the values or changing the maps around, like the change from 0.5 to 0.6, you're going to alienate people. That's just going to happen. But the game has just been getting better and better and better ever since the alpha days. But right now we're seeing map 2, Daxio versus RVG, grabbing away machine gun as we get started. Again, 15 seconds before megas or armors come up. And so a lot of it can be about, okay, what weapons am I going to have? You know, where am I going to be in the map when the items come up? And really, Daxio made a really wise decision there, grabbing away the yellow and then the red. Usually, the way the map is set up, you have one person grabbing red while the other person grabs mega and yellow, which gives them an ever so slight advantage. But this completely takes that away from RVG right now. So Daxio, great position, has done good damage so far, and hasn't taken a lot in return. So 5 seconds to the next red armor. I mean, armors are especially important just because they come up faster than the mega health does. So if you grab armor at the same time your opponent grabs that first mega health, The big fight, the first really big fight, is going to be that second red armor, because it'll be the next thing to come up. And so having control of that entire half of the map is going to be really, really important during those first, 30 to 40 seconds. But that being said, Daxio doesn't have an iron grip on the item timing himself. He's looking a little bit less sure of himself here on WDM14. But again, they're taking it quiet, they're taking it slow. And we have a little bit of LG coming out by Daxio. Not quite the rail that we were looking for. 1 second left to Mega Health. Grabbing with the YA first before getting the grab. And no retaliation on it. A big key of this map is making sure that every time your opponent grabs a major item, that you punish them for it. And without seeing that, it's going to allow Daxio a lot of advantage come the next armor spawn. Especially since it looks like RVG isn't all that hell-bent in doing damage from the medium range. Long-range rails are cool, but right now there needs to be a little bit more than that. There's enough health, there's enough armor on the map to where you can kind of recover that stuff kind of quickly, to be honest. But hey, when your opponent misses a rail like that, then of course you're going for it. And that rocket jump out of desperation just to get the damage in. And that is going to be RVG pulling up the first frag, still with 140 health and 61 points of armor. Just needs to be able to push in his advantage. But then again, as I said, this map is a little bit awkward in that it's very difficult to keep a chain of frags going after your initial one. It's hard to keep that combo going. That being said, PRJ has been afforded a little bit more time to kind of gather his head around things. It was kind of the problem in the last map. Nice rail. So listening for his opponent, looking for more pot shot damage. Not even really wanting to expose himself. And oh my god, beautiful twitch shot. Followed up with another rocket. And that is going to be keeping Daxio completely out of the fight for the Mega Health. And there we have a few more to work with, which leaves Daxio with very limited options. Now, the big thing here is going to be that red armor, of course, coming up in 2 seconds. But Daxio is stuck on a jump pad, so this is not going to be happening. Now, is RVG not going to be leaving this area at all? At all? Going to be just giving that red armor over to Daxio. Okay. He's only up by 2, and we still have 6 minutes and 20 seconds on the clock. So a bit of jockeying for position right now. RVG has the better stack and he knows it, but he's thrown it all away a lot before. If he hasn't, squandered it with time being what it is. But here we have a fight breaking out over Mega Health. It's going to be 8 seconds left to the grab, but look at these shots coming out of RVG. One more rocket coming out to pop his opponent out just before he makes that getaway. And look at this, a beautiful, beautiful rush over towards red armor. This might double back for a Mega Health grab from RVG. Yep, there we go. I'm sorry, from Daxio, but that was actually fairly well put together. Knowing that, okay, I'm going to be heading over towards the other end of the map. If I grab red armor, at the very least, I lose height advantage. So RVG is going to have to be having to regain that right now. And so far, so good. And Daxio really could have done more damage with what he had. Decent LG, but he's losing a lot of his control right now. You don't really want to be spending 10 seconds just, sitting in one area. There we go. We have a bit of a move towards the red armor. Red armor's going to be up. It's going to be bombarded, and the grab is going to be good, and he actually maintains a good portion of it. Problem is, he needs a bit of health to get back up. The 50 health is going to be ideal for it. We should see some more fights down here. It's actually going to be a fight over the fights, over the Mega Health, but it's 3 seconds early. Getting into that cut. Oh, what? 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 Daxio kill himself? Why you kill yourself, Daxio? Crazy bastard. So that'll be a ton of momentum, a ton of locomotion given to RVG right now. Everything is just working out. So there's the Mega Grab, and actually relatively little damage on top of that. So there we have Daxio finally taking out RBG there. Yeesh. 3-1. What a low-scoring game, especially for this map. I always thought it was a little bit spammy. But the way that these guys are playing it has been very, very slow-moving. And that's okay with me, absolutely. But look at these rails. This is like, no, you're not going to get in front of me. But this is where we need to see that the gear kind of start to shift around from I can keep you away from me at will to I need to be able to kill you at will. So I can get my striker, you know? I apologize, I totally spaced out there. It's been a very long evening. And I may be rambling a little bit, but that's okay, because these have been great games, and RVG killing himself with one more grenade there. 3 minutes left on the clock, and this thing has turned back around. Daxio's made a great comeback here. But RVG having a little bit of trouble with that jump, pausing for just a little bit, but now he's on the wrong end of the map. I mean, quite literally. Mega's on the other side. By the time Red Armor comes up, yeah, RVG cannot afford to stay here. One health left for him. I'm really surprised he's still alive. 2 minutes, 23 seconds, and he's just looking for, like, little bits of health. Red Armor's still up, in fact, but that's okay for Daxio because, yeah, he has his back to it, he knows where RBG is, he knows where the exits are, and there's no way he can get past them. And spawning back on the Mega side of the map again, that's going to be very difficult for RBG to break. Ouch. So I was thinking this might have gone to a 3-mapper, but the way RVG just kind of let things go, and Daxio's been taking a lot of initiative here lately, really making these fights happen at the Mega Health a lot more. I'm used to seeing a lot of spam. I'm used to seeing a lot of really ugly fights right on the items. So far during this match, it hasn't really been happening. But now that Daxio's started to pull those guns out a bit more, you can see what's happening to the score. I mean, he's really making a lot more hits, finding a lot more opportunities to make them, and really, he's the one pushing the fights right now. He's the one initiating, and RBG is having to find a way to react defensively. So there we have it, 8-2. Very, very quick comeback from -1. And that's going to be a little bit frustrating for RBG. So final minutes. RBG has 5 frags to make up, which is a tall order indeed. But you can see how he kind of lost timing on the items, and after that he never really got it again. I mean, this is a game where, yeah, listening for the sound of the armor pickups is extremely important. And it just never clicked. I mean, as soon as you see somebody on the opposite end of the map of the item that's coming up, that is just not a good thing, especially when they're already low in health. That means that they cannot camp that end of the map. Wow, that was a very quick couple of frags. Holy shit. 14 seconds, Daxio might just be able to turtle. But no, he's coming out for more LG, just wants to make it happen. Can we get one more before the end? Yes, we can. That's still going to be Daxio taking it. But hey, what a comeback from the comeback, and RVG regains a bit of dignity, and that is going to be GG's. Daxio knocks RVG out of the running. And we'll be moving forward to the next lower bracket game. In fact, let me take a look here at the bracket. I need to stop middle clicking that and shutting it down.